Hello, happy Thursday, everyone. We're back for another office spotlight. I am just going to invite our guest in. Oh, I'm going to have to try again. Bear with me. Hi,
Hi, how
Sarah.
are you?
I'm good. How are
Doing
you?
good. Thanks for having me today.
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining. We appreciate
of
it.
course.
I was just telling everyone who's on that we're doing another office spotlight. So today we're going to spotlight the Glenview office, the Glenview Associates office specifically. So to start things out, wanted to kind of introduce myself. I'm Kate Newman. I'm a senior campus recruiter here at Beacon Hill. So I oversee Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana as a part of my territory. And then I have Sarah Denton on here with me. She is a senior managing consultant from Beacon Hill's Glenview Associates office. And she's been with Beacon Hill since May of 2021. So we're just going to kind of chat all things Glenview. Sarah, I wanted to just start out by asking you to tell us your story and kind of how you discovered and got into staffing, especially since you came from our campus program, which
Yeah,
is awesome.
yeah, definitely. So I connected with Ashley on the campus team when I was a senior in college and just really hit it off from our first conversation of just talking about what I was looking for in a new position or a new career outside of college and what I really wanted. And everything just really aligned with what she was telling me about Beacon Hill and staffing and every conversation I had with everyone in the Chicago team. Including like Ashley, Lindsay, Caitlin, Liz. I just knew it was the right fit for me. And I just really liked the aspect of working with people, helping people find new positions, rather short term, long term, or career change, and then also being in charge of my own success and really being able to see that throughout my career here. So it's been really exciting, but it was a great journey, I would say, into finding staffing and just overall connecting with Ashley and the campus team.
Yeah, no, Ashley's an amazing recruiter,
Yes.
so shout out Ash. So yeah, what a special way to get brought into the company, and those are all really great girls that you mentioned, Liz,
Yeah.
Caitlin, Lindsay. All of you guys are amazing. I love working with you
Awesome.
guys. So yeah, and I had like a similar experience going through the interview process. Just everyone I spoke to was so nice.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that that's like across the board for Beacon Hill. I'm hoping people all feel that way with our interview process. Did you know always that you had like wanted to get into sales?
Yeah. So I always knew I wanted a position where I was interacting with people day on day. I did interview a lot for sales positions where it was a lot of just cold calling different businesses, trying to sell them different products, whether it was tech or an actual product itself. And it just like didn't really resonate with me. I didn't love reaching out to someone over and over again until they said yes to me. Like that was just not my personality. If someone said no, I'd be like, I get it. I don't want to contact you again. Sorry for bothering you. So that's when I like kind of pivoted my job search and I really liked every recruiter that I talked to throughout my job search to begin with. So I was like, maybe there's something in recruiting. And then that's when I really explored staffing and just talked to a lot of different recruiters and agencies and just really fell in love with Beacon Hill the most just because it was really more about what I wanted out of my career. A lot of other agencies, I felt like you did recruiting for 6 months and then you went into sales. And I was like, I don't want to be in
Yeah.
sales. Like, I want to be in that environment, but I like the aspect of recruiting where I'm working one on one with people to help them find what's best for them. And I don't feel like I'm in a sales job, right? Like, I feel like I'm just connecting with people, learning more about them, and then how I could be a resource for them. So I feel like I'm not like necessarily in sales, but I do have all of the great aspects of that environment of it's competitive, it's metric driven, commission based, which I knew I really wanted because if I put in the extra time and effort, I do see that versus being in a position where if you're just straight salary, you don't necessarily always see that.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally resonate. I would like completely agree with your story. Just people had told me sales, and I'm like, I don't really want to
Yeah.
push a product onto someone that they don't need. So this just feels a lot more like intrinsically
Yes.
rewarding, but then obviously the monetary side of it is a huge like upside. So,
Definitely.
anyways, that's awesome. Well, then moving on, next I wanted to kind of ask you, like, let's hear a little bit more about the Glenview office specifically. So, what is it like working in the Glenview office? Any like office traditions, if you kind of want to talk about like how many people are there
Yeah.
and yeah, your
Yeah,
team dynamic.
definitely. So we are currently a team of 6. It's just the associates division in Glenview, so we don't have any other divisions here. So we're small but mighty. But yeah, so it's 3 recruiters right now. We actually just had someone start this week with us as a recruiter, which is great. And then we have 3 sales people or 3 account executives. So it's really great. I mean, I love being in the office with this team. I generally feel like I get FOMO if they're all in the office and I'm not here, just because we're all very motivated, hardworking, but we have so much fun with one another, and we pick each other up when we need to. So if one of us is having a bad day, it's so much better being in the office with each other because I'm constantly laughing, we're making jokes with one another, but we're also getting our work done day by day. Um, so it's honestly just a great team to be in. Like we have fun with each other, we laugh, but at the same time, we still go above and beyond of our goals and metrics and what we need to do day by day. But yeah, it's a really great location as well. So we're in the suburbs. I currently live in the city, but driving up to the suburbs is kind of a nice escape for me to like see the nature and like trees and everything. And like in the fall right now, it's just so great to be, I feel like, out in the suburbs. We have a ton around us. We're like in the Glen for anyone that knows the area. So we have a lot of like food options, coffee options. We go for walks at lunchtime, and there's like really great like nature paths that we could go down just to like take a break throughout the day, get a breath of fresh air. But yeah, I mean, office traditions. I mean, we do like a potluck every single year. So we all bring something in for Thanksgiving. And then we do Secret
I
Santa, which is always
love that.
fun. Yeah. And then kind of going back to like our lunch walks, we do that typically every day just to like get some fresh air, take a break. Um, and yeah, that's kind of it, I would say, for the traditions. But we have like a really great office space. It was just renovated, I believe, 2022. So yeah, it's great. We have like a collab table that we meet at every single morning to just go over any updates. We eat lunch there together. So it's a really great office space.
Yeah, no, I remember visiting and thinking it was so like nice and
Yes.
welcoming. You guys definitely put your own little like flair on it with like the couch and the cute
Yeah.
rug and like the coffee station. I feel like it's very kind of homey, even though it's a
Yes.
workspace, which is really nice and inviting. And you guys have a great
Thank
group there too. Like I love that you
you.
make it fun, but also all like work really hard and like push
Yes.
each other. Yeah, I agree. Like going into the Milwaukee office, I so wish that my team and I could all go into the same office together to get kind of that like camaraderie.
Yeah.
But I'm appreciative that I can go into the Milwaukee office because yeah, I would totally agree. We do like our lunch walks and we like definitely push each other.
Yes.
And on the bad days, they're not as bad because like someone can cheer you up and that
Exactly.
type of thing, which is so
Yeah.
special. Such like a family
It is.
feeling too.
Yeah.
So
You really get to know each other
yeah,
outside of just being in the workplace, which I love. I feel like we're all just like very open and honest with each other, and we could talk about what's actually going on professionally, personally, and it's just a really great environment and team culture to be in, to be very open and honest like that.
yeah, definitely. No, I've made some lifelong friends here.
Yes.
Like I have a book club that I've started and we like get together every month and I went to New York with some girls
Oh,
from the Milwaukee
that's
team too. So yeah,
awesome.
very
Yeah.
special. And then I know we talked about office setup, kind of the location. Can you tell me a little bit more about like what your division does, just for anyone who's watching who might be specifically interested in Glenview and the associates division,
Yeah.
obviously. So if you want to talk about the specialty and kind of like how, quickly it moves, how many placements you're typically making, like on
Yeah,
average.
definitely. So yeah, for our associates division, we do everything for administrative, customer service, HR, and anything kind of like backfill as well. So we've been touching a little bit more in like logistics, supply chain, data entry projects, and it's a very fast moving industry to be in or department to be in. We get very short term temporary roles where they might need someone just for 3 days, or we get in those permanent opportunities. So I am actively working on anywhere from, I would say, like 10 to 25 open jobs at a time. And things could be moving very quickly where we need to place someone very next day. So it's really fun and really enjoyable. I feel like I'm meeting with so many different types of candidates every single day and week, which I find really rewarding and fun, that I'm just not meeting and interviewing the exact same candidate over and over again. Everyone has a different story. Everyone is looking for something different. So it's a really fun industry to be in and fun department because I could be working with someone that just graduated college, not exactly sure what they want to do, so they take on a couple temp positions, or I could be working with someone that's like later in their career and really pivoting away from one industry into another. And we do cover all industries in our division. So I could be working with a manufacturing company, a nonprofit organization, a law firm, anything like that. So yeah, it's a really fun industry to be in, but yeah, it's just us here in Glenview, but we do work super closely with other divisions throughout Chicago. So our office and our downtown team, we often share candidates just so they're having the best experience possible. So if they're open to hearing about positions both in the suburbs and in the city, they usually have two recruiters looking out for them. I work really closely with our accounting team and finance team for anyone that is open to being in both industries or divisions. So we have a lot of crossover as well, which is really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I knew you guys kind of collaborated with the team downtown and in Oak Brook, but I didn't know exactly what that looked like. So
Yeah.
that was even helpful for me. I guess, do you have like any formal meetings as like all of kind of Greater Chicago associates, or do you kind of keep the meetings separate, like Glenview, Oak
Yeah,
Brook,
so
Chicago?
we work really closely with our Oak Brook team. We actually do have daily meetings with them every morning to go over their jobs and our jobs, just because we are both in the suburbs. So we have a lot of crossover with candidates. So we want to make
Yeah.
sure our clients are getting the best possible service, but then also our candidates are getting the best outlook from Beacon Hill as well. So we have full coverage there. So we do have daily meetings with our Oak Brook office. And then with our downtown team, it's a little bit more of like the recruiters do talk to one another. So we do have like a group chat on Teams that we communicate through, being like, hey guys, we just got this new job order in. If anyone has any candidates in this area, would love to connect with them. Just again, so the candidates are receiving as many opportunities as they possibly can throughout Beacon Hill. But we don't necessarily have any like larger meetings with them on a monthly or weekly basis.
Okay. No, that's super
Yeah.
helpful. Awesome. Well, it's nice that you can kind of collaborate with each other.
Yeah,
I think that even more kind of adds to that like team work dynamic.
definitely.
But then again, like the individual side of it too, and like you having more control over your own outcome.
Exactly.
Um, Perfect. Well, then I also wanted to ask a little bit about kind of what you think makes a great hire, in case anyone were to interview for your team in the
Yeah.
future. So coming from you personally, what do you look for in a great
Yeah, great
hire?
question. I would say someone that is really self-driven and self-motivated. This is a position where after training and after getting you up and running and kind of knowing what you're doing day to day, it is very more on yourself to hit your metrics and hit your goals. And you don't come into the office with someone telling you what you need to do every single day. So just having that internal motivation and drive to succeed and wanting to be successful, I think is a huge aspect of being in this type of role in this type of environment. And also someone that likes to have variety and likes to have change. This is not a super structured position where you could come in Monday morning expecting your day to go one way and then everything falls apart and you have to pivot with it. So someone that could be very flexible with that. And overall just likes to be an environment where you are held accountable for your independent work, but it is for a larger team goal and output. We really do rely on one another to be successful here. So someone that wants to be in that type of environment where you have a large team goal that you're working towards, but then you also need to put up your independent goal and your independent work to get there. So I would say those are like the biggest things that I look for is just someone that wants to be in a really team driven environment, have that self motivation and grind, and then also being able to be flexible with rolling with the punches because everything changes within a matter of minutes. I feel like in this type of role. So yeah, those are like the biggest things.
That's awesome. No, I would totally agree with you. I would
Yeah.
definitely echo that. And I also wanted to kind of get your perspective or advice, I guess, for someone who would be starting out in staffing. Maybe we'll like cross over a little bit with what you
Yeah.
just said, but especially since you have seen like such success in a short amount of time, like out of college. One, if you want to like touch a little bit more on like how you got to where you are today, like the effort that it took and that type of thing, and then going from there, like maybe
Yeah.
that is your advice.
Yeah,
But
definitely. I knew for me, like coming in, I was just so motivated by making a name for myself. I wanted to prove to everyone that hired me, to Lindsay, Liz, Charlie, everyone in Beacon Hill Associates, that I was going to be a great hire. Like I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to build that trust up front with them, being like, if you need anything, come to me. I will be that go-to person. So for me, it was just really making that name for myself and showing up every single day, regardless of what was going on. So I would say putting in the extra effort will go a really long way. Sending those extra 10 emails on a Sunday night or working late on a Monday at like 8 p.m. as I watch Netflix, sending Indeed messages out to candidates, like it does go a really long way because you're always one step ahead of everyone else that maybe isn't doing that then. So I would say that would be the first thing that I did a lot in the beginning, and I still continue to do to this day, is just do a lot of my administrative tasks at night or on the weekends when I have the time to do it, and it isn't like mentally draining for me because from college, that's what I would do. Just like watching Netflix with my friends and like doing my homework there, and I continue that into this job where I'm sourcing candidates, answering emails, editing resumes. That's not super like intensive during the day. I save that for kind of doing it while I'm watching Netflix or just relaxing, I would say. But outside of that, I would just say the biggest thing is don't be embarrassed. Like, definitely try your hardest every single day. You're going to fail, and that's the part of learning. You have to fail to learn, and then you'll kind of continue that with you throughout your career. So just not giving up. It does take time. It's a lot to learn. It's very fast paced, very high volume, but don't let that scare you and kind of just really thrive in the chaos of it. I guess I could say, I think I say that all the time. It's like, I really do thrive in chaos, and that's when I do my best work. So really just embracing that and moving forward with it and just like rolling through the punches, asking for help when you need it, not being afraid. And yeah, I would say like that's kind of what I attribute my success to, but also that's the advice I would give someone who's starting in staffing.
That's awesome. That was such amazing advice. I would agree.
Thank
Like,
you.
you have to, like you said, be curious, not be afraid to ask questions. Like, I always say in my interviews, you're gonna feel like you're drinking from a
Yes,
fire hose at first because it's a lot of information,
totally.
but it's so helpful. And just like take everything you can, like be a sponge, soak it
Yeah,
up. And like you said, I love that you said like you have to
yeah,
fail to learn. That's so
yes,
true. But not being scared to like try because you don't know if you don't try, and you got
exactly.
to keep pushing. So
Exactly.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Well, that was all of the questions that I had for you today. This was
Awesome.
so
Of
helpful,
course.
and I'll be so excited to send this out to future Glenview
I
Associates
love it.
candidates. So thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on today and taking the time. And we'll see each
Sounds
other again soon.
good. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.